Hello, my name is Heather Shebeck. This is for Micro 225-012, and today's date is 8/6/2021. I am going to go ahead and work on my biochemical testing for microbial identification. So I've already wiped the table down, of course. I've washed my hands, I've donned all of my gloves, apron, mask, and my goggles. I have pre-labeled my fennel red broth. I do have my cultures already here of my Cerevisiae and my S. epidermidis. I do have my bucket over here to my left, alcohol, napkins, and bleach, just in case I need it. And I have my Durham tubes already in my alcohol, which are down here, in my pivots, of course, that I've already set up and I've labeled that. And now we'll go ahead and get going. So let me light this candle. My fennel broth is already at room temperature already too, so I took it out a little earlier as I was setting up everything. So I have, like I said, labeled them all, so I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all right. So I'm just gonna, can you see? Let me just put this. So I'm just gonna be careful, of course, not to touch the table. I wanna pass this by the fire. I'm gonna go do the same thing to my next broth. I'm gonna pass it through the fire really quickly. Careful not to touch the table, and it's just gonna be quick so that I can go ahead and open my glucose. And I'm going to pour half of my glucose into my fennel broth. Hopefully get half of it. I just want to eyeball it and see what's left, what it looks like. Try not to touch the sides, of course. I think we're good there. And I'm going to pour the rest of my glucose, the other half of it, into my second fennel tube. And I think that's everything. Okay. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this into my bucket. I'm going to close this now so I can go ahead and move on to my next step. Okay. So now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to my fructose for my Cerevisiae. I'm going to open it. Just pass it through. Then I'm going to carefully, so it doesn't move and touch anything else, I'm going to sit it down so I can just do both of these at the same time. Careful not to spill any, of course. Careful not to touch the table. And then open up my fructose. Grab my broth and put and then I'm going to put the rest of it into, I think I got all the rest of it in there. So now I'm going to throw that away and close this. All right. Now I'm going to finish off with my and then I'm going to finish off with my manifold. Okay. And then put the rest of it in here. Let's finish putting this. Okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna stir it a little bit to make sure it dissolves. As I'm doing that as well, I'm gonna start taking my dirham tubes out of the alcohol and lay them here on the napkin that I've already set up so they can start drying, because I want to make sure that they're dry prior to inserting them. All right. So I think this is pretty dissolved. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. They look like they're changing colors, except for this one. Those ones all look a little orange. All right. So some of these still have alcohol, so I want to just get these empty. So they can start drying. I want them totally dry. All right. So now, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open this. So I'm going to take my pipette that was placed in the alcohol, and I'm going to carefully take my pipette and place it into my Cerevisiae and put 4 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing with my next one. 4 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the same thing with my last phenol red tube, because I want 4 drops in each of these, so I'm going to go ahead and place 4 drops. Okay. So I grabbed another pipette. I'm going to go ahead and open my S. epidermidis. gonna grab my pipette. Careful not to touch the sides. And then I'm going to place 4 drops in each. I'm going to stir it a little bit after I put the lid, of course. Close my epidermidis. Go ahead and place this to the side because at the moment I'm done with that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make sure these are empty, but so I'm going to place the flat side of my dirham tube down, and hopefully there's no air trapped in it. So I don't think there's any air in there. So I'm gonna do that one. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the others. I just want to make sure this is tight, but I want to make sure there's no air in there. So I'm just double checking. Yeah, because I don't want air trapped in there. So and then I just want to make sure there's no air in it. That's all. Okay. So that's about it for this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up here, of course. And wait till tomorrow and go ahead and post my results video and take my pictures and such of everything. So thank you.